Welcome to the Raise podcast with Carol Barwick. We're here to raise your confidence and inspire your creativity. This time, it's more like a season of mini episodes where Carol explores the Raise word. The Raise word is a word that will encourage you or empower you and at times inspire you to explore the word a little more for yourself. Each episode is just 10 to 15 minutes with the idea you can have a listen while you drink your cuppa. So grab your favourite drink and let's get started. Well, hello and welcome to A Cuppa with Carol. I'm Carol Barwick. Look, can I be honest with you at the top of the podcast? It's taking everything to do this podcast today. I am so tired, but my health has been such that I've got to get on with something, and the podcast is the thing that I believe God is calling me to continue doing. And so here I am praying and believing that something that is said today will touch you and that will make doing this podcast episode today all worth it. You know, I love doing the podcast. I love it. And that's the other reason why I am here today, showing up, doing my best, because it's very much become my heart. It's not the heart of Raise. The heart of Raise is God first and foremost, but the podcast is definitely something that's very much in my heart. And the word that we're looking at today is heart. I'm recording this just a week before Valentine's Day, and obviously the heart is absolutely synonymous with Valentine's Day, it seems. And I thought I'd do a little bit of digging around just to find out a little bit more about the heart. And I came upon a TED talk by a lady called Marilyn Yalom, and she was looking at why the heart is used as it is today, why it is the shape it is today, and why it's associated with love. And it goes all the way back to the Greek philosophers and probably before that too. But she said that Plato argued for the dominant role of the chest in love and in negative emotions of fear, anger, rage and pain. And then Aristotle expanded the role of the heart even further, granting it supremacy in all human processes. So the heart is very much around our emotions. I've been looking over the last few days at all these people that have been using ChatGPT to get them to look at their businesses and put a picture together of their businesses. And really, it's a bit like saying, can you put the heart of me into a picture? And I find it really interesting because I wonder what would happen if you simply said to ChatGPT, do a picture of what is in the heart of me. What is my heart? I don't think it could do it. I know that AI is becoming more and more sophisticated, but I don't think it could do that because it doesn't know your heart. It talks in the Bible, though, about God knowing our heart, knowing our very innermost being, seeing the heart more than anything else. And at one point in my life, I had an interesting thought, which was, I wonder if God doesn't see our bodies at all, that he just isn't bothered about our physical bodies and what we look like. It's only our hearts. I wonder if we are wandering around in this world, but all God sees is our hearts. And I wonder what impact that makes on you. If God doesn't see the body, he doesn't see the clothes, he doesn't see our iniquities and our health issues and the things that we feel shame over, if he doesn't see any of that and he literally just sees our heart, what is he seeing in you? What would that one picture look like if you asked God to look at your heart? Something to think about, isn't it? Because of what I said at the top of the podcast about feeling so tired. And because it is half term in the UK next week for quite a lot of us, I'm going to let this episode stretch out over 2 weeks. This week in the Raise community, the word is heart. And the next week is Love Raise Week. And Love Raise Week is just all about thinking about how Raise is going, what else Raise can do to support the people in the community, and how we can keep it going. So I love Raise Week, and over the years it has changed. When I had physical groups, I used to love taking heart-shaped things in. I found chocolates with messages on them. I had heart-shaped candles. We had all kinds of different ways of celebrating Love Raise Week physically. And as I was thinking about heart, it made me think about the Raise logo. And I don't know if any of you have noticed. I'm sure that you won't have done. But in the transition between the Raise logo, the Raise community, and the Raise podcast, we have lost the symbol of the heart. And just saying it makes me sad, and I'm going to try and find a way to put it back in somehow. But whenever I did the logo, when I started Raise, even before it was running as a business, when it was a church children's group, and I was coordinating for a church in Bradford, all the children's work, and that's where Raise began. We have always had a heart in the logo, and the logo has changed lots of times, many times, but we've always kept a heart in the logo. And I just noticed it the other day that the logo with the Raise podcast, or the branding of the Raise podcast, hasn't got a heart. So I need to find a way of putting it back in there somewhere. If you've got any ideas of how I can put the heart back in there in a lovely way, in a new way, then please let me know. But that does not mean that Raise has lost its heart. And I said earlier on that the heart of Raise is God. And it has to be for me, because that is my beating heart. God is my beating heart. I mean, literally at the moment with all these health issues, it is God that is keeping me going. I know that. And I love that God is my heart. But I looked at, excuse me, in the Raise community, we talked about what the heart is to other people. And these are some of the things that were said. The core of something or someone, the part that everything else hangs on. Life-giving and affirming centre of who we are, whether it be the physical heart or a person who is the heart of the family, friendship, group, etc. Something that keeps us going without us knowing. Something we take for granted. Broken and full at the same time. And someone said 6 tablets per day. Hey, listen, for a lot of people, that is the reality of the heart. It's about keeping it going, keeping that life blood flowing. We've looked at and talked about lots of different types of hearts, and I wonder what one word sums up your heart at the moment. And I think it changes as well, because I said that God is the heart of Raise, and it is, but obviously also people are the heart of Raise. Raise wouldn't work if I didn't have the wonderful community of people who day in, day out share and encourage each other and are open and honest with each other and are vulnerable with each other. And I love the way that I see people change and grow and love each other in the community. And if you're not part of the Facebook community and you want to be part of the Raise community, please do come and join us on Facebook. And if you are not a Facebook user, as a lot of people aren't, then please just pop comments when you've heard these episodes, because it makes a big difference and it keeps the conversation going, and it's so important. And I said about Love Raise Week, which is next week, and I will be using that a bit to talk about how to keep the Raise podcast going financially. You know that I've got a Buy Me a Coffee page. So if you love what we're doing, if you hear poems that I've shared and things like that, and you are in a position to give just a tiny little bit, hey, you can give just £1 on Buy Me a Coffee. That's why I love it so much. You can just do £1 and that's it. That's all you ever do. And that is so wonderful. So please consider doing that, particularly over Love Raise Week. It's a nice time to show a bit of love to Raise and to the podcast. I'm going to finish off, as I always do, with a poem. And I think it's really, really important. More important than ever at the moment. What I do when I look at poems is I look at the word that I'm talking about on the episode, and I often just put it in my search of all the poems that I've written. And this is one that came up, and I think it's incredibly important. And I pray that you will take it into your heart and into your mind as I read this. And it's simply called Be Kind. You think this, I think that. Good intents entwined, when the heart desires the best. Both are right. Be kind. They don't think the same as me. If so, never mind. You don't know what they've been through. Have some grace. Be kind. Doesn't matter what the race, colour, creed, design, disagreement may occur. All the same, be kind. No one else says lovely things. I'll be redefined. What's the worst that they can say? Worth the risk? Be kind. School or work or family, you get left behind. Don't you think you're worth it too? Take a break. Be kind. Souls are easy targets. Words destroy the mind. Sticks and stones break hearts and bones. Heal the wounds. Be kind. I'm just about to finish, but I wanted to just leave you with an image of something that really excited me this week. One of the things that I do to keep the podcast going is I write poems, and someone asked me to write a poem about two of her friends and the way that between the three of them they form a triangle. And I don't know what happens when I write poems. I don't know what's going to happen and what's going to be created. But what I realised as I wrote it, and I wrote about these three strong sides and this triangle forming, was I realised that if one side, just one side, gets broken, gets a little bit dented, gets a little bit misshapen, that it forms a heart. Thanks for having a cuppa with me. Let's have a cuppa again soon. If you've enjoyed having a cuppa with me, then you can buy me a coffee. Go to buymeacoffee.com/Carol Barwick. Let's have a cuppa again soon.